Stories of fantasy and enchantment have captured the minds of children since the origin of fairy tales. Many can remember the beloved movies of Disney transporting us into an altered reality.
Sleepless nights at the chateau, visualize it.
I'll give it something to do.
Kuch, wherever we go, visualize it.
I'll give it something to do.
In the story, the main character Meg, her brother Charles, and her classmate Calvin embark on an epic journey through space and time in order to find their long-lost father, Mr. Murray. With the aid of three magical witches, Mrs. Watsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch, the children are transported to the world of Ixtal. When they arrive on the planet, the children are shocked by the unnatural conformity and mindlessness of the people who live there. After venturing through the new world, they come upon the fortress where Mr. Murray is being held captive. There, they battle many evil foes, ultimately leading them to their largest battle against the evil super brain, It. Using their most prominent skill, the children overcome various obstacles and face the menacing It, its mental influence eventually overwhelming all but Meg. Meg is forced to take on the evil being alone. Just when all seems lost, Meg uses the power of love to overcome its control, freeing her father and saving the entire universe. So where did this imaginary world and exciting tale begin? Madeline was born on November 29th, 1918, and spent her formative years in New York City. Instead of her schoolwork, she found that she would much rather be writing stories, poems, and journals for herself. Her grades in school were not the best, but this never discouraged her. Lee Engel stated that A Wrinkle in Time sprang from her discovery of particle physics and quantum mechanics. She began reading Einstein. She picked up a book by him, leading to the beginning of her writing process in 1961. Her idea for Mrs. Who, Mrs. Witch, and Mrs. Whatsit came unexpectedly. On a road trip with her family, she excitedly turned to her children, telling them all about the characters she had just envisioned. When it came time to creating the main character Meg, Leigh Engel looked to herself. In an interview, she stated that she felt Meg resembled herself. She said that, like Meg, she was the kind of girl who could never get her hair right. She began writing the book in 1961. By 1963, it received the John Newbery Medal. In 1965, it received the Sequoia Award and also the Lewis Carroll Shelf.
This story is smart. It has a lot of complicated concepts, of course. It has a lot of big vocabulary words, and it has a lot of references to great works of literature like Shakespeare and also great philosophers. Madeline L'Engle's philosophy for children's literature is basically if a kid comes across a word or a concept that he doesn't understand, he can damn well look it up and learn something. Plus, even though the story is simple, the issues it addresses are not, and the line between good and evil is not always clear-cut.
If you like books about good versus evil and children making hard decisions and witches and strange magical creatures and time travel and space travel and aliens, this is the book for you.
Even with its large fanbase and uplifting message of love conquering hate, this book has still received a large amount of criticism. Its religious, scientific, and political statements have left it a great topic of controversy. Today it holds its spot as number 23 on the U.S.'s most banned books list. Some early accusations centered around rhetoric that it was pro-communist, a hot-button topic issue for the politically unstable 1960s. However, these accusations have been dismissed. A large factor in its controversy is its use of religion. Many say that the book is too religious. The book often quotes the Bible and carries religious messages of morality.
Listen, Meg. Listen well. The foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For ye say your calling, brethren.
Ironically, some argue the complete opposite, stating that the book is not religious at all, or even satanic. They say that the book contains too much science, which takes away from its Christian message. The school system of Anniston, Alabama challenged it in 1990 because someone objected to the book citing the name of Jesus together with the names of other artists, philosophers, scientists, and religious leaders who defended Earth against evil.
She would just raise her hands up and say, but this is the story, this is what happened. People often want to pit religion and science against each other. You either believe in God or you believe in science. And for her, again, that was a totally ridiculous notion that for her, science really helped her believe in a benevolent God.
Leigh Angle has always been a very active member in the Christian church, but this hasn't stopped any of the attacks on her book. Another controversy stemmed from the characters Mrs. Who, Mrs. Witch, and Mrs. Whatsit. Many stated that they are clearly witches who add a satanic element of witchcraft. When Leigh Angle was confronted with this, she stated that she had always seen them as angels, not masters of witchcraft. Citizens for Excellence in Education in Waterloo, Iowa accused Leigh Angle of promoting occult practices, employing satanic suggestions, sadism, and implying that Christ was not divine, by comparing him to the world's other great leaders of peace. This book, while attacked and praised, will always be a great source for children to escape into a world of fantasy and wonder.